The next area is the SENCO and the law. Having enough knowledge about the law is a worry for many SENCOs, so we did want to tap into your practical advice here, Lorraine, and your experience. It would be really helpful to have advice about where to access the most up-to-date legal definitions and requirements.
Well, I would have said on the Department for Education website, but that's sort of lost its way a little bit since we changed names from the DCSF. But through organisations like NASEN, we keep lots and lots of up-to-date information on our website. We send out e-newsletters and we try and include anything that's new. In terms of the law and legal updates, there are a number of very good legal professionals who just dedicate their lives to SEN and the law, and they do actually send out SEN newsletters, and so I think it might be beneficial to SENCOs to see if there is a local law firm in their area. It's often the ones that are used for tribunals and those sort of cases, or go through an organisation like NASEN to pinpoint you in the direction of those people. But they will send out free update newsletters on the changes in the law. But it is very difficult because obviously the law is changing, and trying to play your way through House of Commons Hansard reports is pretty mind-boggling. So I think doing it through a third party is probably the best way.
Thank you. Do they have to subscribe to NASEN in order to do that? Or
well, a lot of that information is free on our website. Obviously, as a NASEN member, you get even more through our journals and magazines. Yes. That they get as part of that membership.
What about the legal responsibility of local authorities? Sometimes that's confusing.
It's very confusing because quite a lot of what local authorities do is not a legal responsibility. It's often guidance or and one of the issues we have in this country is we have 152 different ways of doing things because it's how the local authority interprets the law. In terms of actual legal responsibilities, I suppose you start at the Code of Practice, which yes, is now 10 years out of date, but actually that's the starting point. And look at what the things in there are that local authorities should be doing. And then going into sort of local authority websites, and there are most of those, there are sort of the legal responsibilities of the local authority. But often they are different from one local authority to another. So if you're a SENCO who's moved from one authority to another, you might find the process that they have to go through, for instance, through assessment and statements, it might be slightly different to one that they've been used to.
The next question is around how SENCOs would access legal advice if they needed to.
My recommendation was, if it was real specific legal advice they're after, that they actually access that through a legal practitioner. As I say, there are a number that are dedicated to sort of SEN and the law, and are often very good at giving over the phone free advice. I think one of the things that they would say if they were sitting here now is the SENCO shouldn't get really uptight about the legalities of what they are doing, because at the end of the day it is not their responsibility to ensure that certain things happen. It's the governing body and the head teacher. But obviously, as a good SENCO, you want to make sure that the bit you're doing is supporting the head and the governing body. So yes, I mean, as I say, I think I would, if it was specific legal advice, I'd look to one of the legal professional firms to support me in that.
Are there any e-newsletters, updates or professional associations that it would be useful for them to sign up to or to access readily?
As I say earlier, the membership to NASEN would help them with all of that, and they would get copies of the e-newsletter and special. There's also things like SENCO Forum, which at the moment is being run by Bector, and we're not sure where that's going to go, but we will make sure that it continues, because one of the best ways of getting support is through their peers. And I think one of the things that the National Award is actually proving is that there are some groups of sort of forums and just friendship groups growing up where they can share support and information, and to me that's probably the best network you can get, is actually that one with people on the ground, because as I said earlier, it can be quite isolated being a SENCO, and just having another SENCO to actually be able to talk to or correspond with could actually make all the difference to a particular aspect of the job.